everyone, and welcome to our Divi feature update live. First of all, I know it's unusual. I don't usually come on the feature live on Fridays, but this is because we have a special announcement and I'm really excited to be talking about this. So those of you that are expecting BJ today, I'm sorry, no BJ today. So anyways, I hope you can all hear me loud and clear, and please, if you can hear me loud and clear, let me know in the comments box below before we begin. And as I mentioned, today is very special. We're going to be talking about our brand new service or a brand new partnership called Divi Hosting. All right, so let's have a look here. Uncle Social says, I like Mac, but don't know if I can forgive him for pushing BJ. No, this is temporary, okay? This is temporary. So BJ is going to be back on his Friday slot. So this is temporary. Okay, I can hear your sound is fine. Right, awesome. Loud and clear. Fantastic. Great. Okay, so I have, so please let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm just curious, you know, before we start the show, it gives me that energy to know that people are tuning in from all parts of the world. So let me know where you're tuning in from. So here I can see we have Sanjiwa from Sri Lanka. Awesome. Awesome. Good to see you. We have George from Cyprus. Excellent. Anyone from the UK? Anyone from the UK? Okay. Steve here from Singapore. We have Anoop from Bangladesh. Osama from United Arab Emirates. Awesome. We have Cape Town Fly from South Africa. Chad Williams from Johannesburg. Awesome. We also have Oliver from Munich. Let's see. UK stand up. Right. We also have X3 here from the UK. Lee Saunders from London. Awesome. Good to see you. We also have Rajib from Nepal. Fabrizio from Italy. Opley from Philippines. Oh, you know what? All these countries are coming through now. Awesome. Right. Let's have a look here. We also have Phil from Switzerland. Victor from Dublin. Awesome. Okay. Lee from the UK. Darren. Okay. Here comes the UK now. Darren. Awesome. Rob from the Netherlands. All right, guys. Now that you can hear me loud and clear, I'm going to now start talking about our latest feature, which is Divi Hosting. So first of all, you may be asking, what is Divi Hosting? Because it's very important that we understand what Divi Hosting is. So Divi Hosting is our brand new partnership with hosting companies. Now, these companies specialize in WordPress hosting. They're very good at WordPress hosting, and their support is fantastic because whatever problems that you have with WordPress, they know they know how to deal with it. So the partnership is with three companies, namely Flywheel, SiteGround, and Pressable. So Flywheel, I've used this for a very long time. In fact, I have an account with them and it is brilliant. In fact, in a few moments, I'm going to show you what the dashboard looks like and how the experience is when you are using Flywheel. We also have SiteGround. SiteGround, for those of you that don't know, SiteGround is fantastic. They have really fast servers and they have a really, really good service. We also have Pressable. Now, Pressable here, to be honest, I had not really heard of it, but Pressable is by the makers of WordPress themselves, which is the company called Automatic. So, as you can see, Pressable would be a very, very, very good hosting option because they are the makers of WordPress. Okay, so why is this important? Why do we need Divi Hosting, and why have we gone with this partnership? So we've been hearing so many problems regarding hosting, websites running really slow. So our support team has been gathering all this information, trying to have a look at what are the mostly asked questions and problems that we get from all our Divi customers. And one of the main one is the hosting. So most people will be thinking, okay, my website is slow, maybe it's Divi, right? And sometimes it's easy to think that it could be the page builder itself that's really slow. But in most cases, it's actually the hosting, because all hosting are not created equally. Some hosting are better than others, and some hosting are just there really on a shared server where you're sharing resources. So as you can imagine, let's say you have your website on a server where it has shared resources. If website A has a lot of traffic it's going to affect everyone on that particular server, which means your website, although it's optimized, it's going to run slow. So this is why I said hosting comes in different shapes and sizes, and it's not all created equal. So the reason why we've gone with these three companies is because these three companies have highly optimized their servers to work well with Divi. Now, really think about it. I mean, it's optimized for Divi, and this is what makes this really, really, really powerful. So the other reasons why this is also good is it just works flawlessly because they've been testing out Divi websites on these three platforms, and they're highly optimized. Your PHP files, I mean, pretty much everything that you need that sometimes you'd have to go in and manually fix, it's all fixed by default with these hosting companies. Now, as we go along with the show, if you have any questions, please ask me in the comments box below, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. All right, so I'm just going to take a quick look here and see what questions we have. Right, so it looks like no questions so far. Interesting. Okay. Right, so let's take a look here and show you how this actually works. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to switch over here to the article so I can show you. Oops, is that showing correctly? Okay, this is strange. Just bear with me while I fix this. Okay, there we go. Right. So as I mentioned, these are our three companies that we've partnered with. So here we have a specific article that goes through in detail what this partnership is about. So here we go through, as I mentioned, in detail, and we talk about each hosting company, what they bring to the table. And this is also important because it has all the links that you need in order for you to get this service. So let's talk about this service for a moment. So when we take a look at this hosting service, there's two ways you can get this. If you're brand new to Divi and you would like to start a brand new website, the links I've included here will take you directly to the hosting companies. And while you sign up for the hosting service, you're going to have Divi installed in there in that process. So I'll show you in a moment what the pages look like. But if you're an existing user and you're getting a lot of problems with your hosting, what you can do is you can migrate your website to these three services that I've just mentioned. So this also works. So if you're an existing user, you're having problems with your website, you can migrate your websites to these three services, and these, as I mentioned, they're highly optimized to work well with Divi. If you're brand new, you also go to these links, which I'll show you in a moment, and that's the process that you'd go in, and Divi will be installed on your hosting platform automatically. All right, so let me show you now this article. So first of all, we have Divi plus Flywheel. And by the way, I've also included these links in the video description below, so you can go directly to them. Okay, so over here we have Divi plus Flywheel. So this is the link right here. So if I click here, it's going to take us to Flywheel, where it takes, to this page where it talks a little bit about the hosting by Flywheel and so on. So if you say get hosting, this now is going to take you to the Flywheel page, and you can see here it says Elegant Themes plus Flywheel. So over here we have a few plans. We have the Tiny plan, which includes one website. We also have the Starter, we have the Freelance, and we have the Agency. So here you can have up to 30 sites. This one here has up to 10 sites, and this one here has a bit more monthly visits and so on. So this is how you would start. So you can choose your plan by coming over here. So let's say you click here on choose plan. So this will take you now to this page. So as you can see here, I already have my name added in. So all I would have to do here is to confirm my payment, but this is the process that you would go and add your payment method. Now, as a note here, when you use Flywheel, you do need to register your domain name with a domain registrar. Like, for example, you could use, let's say, hover.com, because they don't do domain registration. So this needs to be done separately. And then once you set up your registration, you can then set up your name servers to connect your domain registration to your hosting account. Okay, but with SiteGround, this is more. SiteGround also provides the option to register your domain name. So let's take a look here at SiteGround. So over here you can see they also have these packages, and this is fully compatible with the Divi theme, as you can see here on the top. So as I scroll down here, we can choose either this one here or the Grow Big. So if I choose Get Plan, this is where now you can choose. If you have a domain name, you can just click here, already have a domain name, you add your domain name here. But if you don't, this is where you'd add your domain name. So you can choose whether it's a .co.uk, or you can choose all these extensions that we have right here. So once you choose your domain name, that means that SiteGround will register your domain and your hosting at the same time. And once you go through that registration process, you are going to be registered, and your Divi install will be automatically added in and connects with your hosting account. Now, here's the other thing that I also like to mention here is when you set up your hosting through this way, what happens is Divi now connects, your WordPress, your hosting company connects now with Elegant Themes, which means you don't have to add your API keys. You don't even have to do any extra things. So all your Divi updates will come through without any problems, because automatically it just sets everything up for you. So right now I'm just going to take a quick look at some questions here. If you have any questions, let's have a look here. So far, no questions. Okay. Zoom says, okay, we have a question here saying, you recommend Home Hero Hosting? No, we are recommending these three companies here because specifically they've optimized their servers to work with Divi, to really make Divi fast. Okay, so that's the reason why we are recommending these three products. But having said that, it doesn't mean that Divi now is not going to work on any other hosting platform. No. All these other hosting platforms, Divi will still work, but we are just saying that we've really sat down with these companies, we partnered with them, and they've optimized their servers to work really well with Divi, and they've also done the integration through the setup process. Okay. Okay, someone is asking if this is live. Yes, this is live. That's X3 asking. Yes, this is live. Right. What's the discount like? Not sure what you mean. What do you mean by the discount? Right now, these links takes us to the hosting. So if you want to purchase your hosting as a new customer, you just click on these links, which I've added in the video description below, and they should go to those links. Now, if you're asking about the discounts, we normally have discounts on Black Friday, and we also have discounts on our anniversary. So at the moment, we don't have any discounts. Fabrizio says, in fact, let's add the question here so everyone can see. Fabrizio says, I already have Grow Big account on SiteGround with which I manage several sites. Can I have the integration benefits with this update, or does everything stay right? Okay, so with this now, what you can do is you can migrate your websites to to the Divi optimized servers, and these companies can do that for you. They can do the migration for you, which is fantastic. But I mean, if you're happy with how things are running on your site right now, you can just leave it as it is, and that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Sajad says, I've already, okay. Oshi says, do I get Divi free if I purchase the hosting plan? No, that's not the case. Divi does not come free when you take on this hosting. This is just our partnership with these hosting companies to make sure that you get the best out of Divi. Now, I also need to mention some of these features that make websites really run fast. So one of them is a CDN. So a CDN is a content distribution network. It just has different servers on different parts of the continent. So let's say you're accessing your website from America. Your data from your website will go to the American servers. If you're in Europe, depending on which part of Europe it is, your website will be accessed quicker from those servers in, say, for example, Europe, depending on where the user is. So this is a CDN. So these services that I'm talking about here have a CDN. They also have another feature which is really, really important, and that is caching. So your website is also cached by these servers. So you don't really have to get a caching plugin in order for you to make your website fast, because this is done by default for you. And there's also other features like backups and so on, which I'll show you in a moment how that works. So let's take a look here if there's any more questions. Christoph says, what's new in the update? The new in the update is the partnership with the hosting companies, and also the fact that Divi now has optimized companies or optimized servers that makes the website reliable, very, very fast, and also great support. Okay, so let me show you now the dashboard of Flywheel and just show you how this what this looks like. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier on, I have an account with Flywheel, and when you log in, and I'm sure for those of you that use cPanel, you can see that this is way different. So this is Flywheel. So when you go in here, this is where your websites will be listed. So if I go to this website here, which is my website, by the way, this now, oops. You know what happened? I'm logged into the wrong website. Okay, let's go back in. Now, this is what happens on a live show. Sometimes it's crazy. Okay, so this is my website here, learndash.com. So this dashboard here has a few tricks up its sleeve. So over here, if you take a look, we have our server stats. So if I click here, of course, they're not many because this website is for demo purposes only. So you have the server dashboard, which pretty much shows you how your website is performing, which I think is very good. But the main feature that I really like about Flywheel is the backup. So these backups are automatic. So as you can see here, I don't have to worry about going in here and backing my website every single day. So this is done automatically. And let's say something goes wrong with my website today, I can just go back to the version that worked yesterday. And to restore the service, all you have to do is to click these three little dots here, press restore, and your website is restored. And this is why, in my opinion, when you're running a website, you need to have a service that makes sure that everything runs smoothly, and this is one of them. I used to have a design agency back in the day, and I did a mistake of choosing one of these cheap hosting companies. And to be honest, I won't name names, but this hosting company, I mean, was a nightmare. What used to happen is, in fact, what happened is, I had about 200 clients on that hosting. So each time I had to go in and make sure each and every website is updated, because if not, and something happens and you get hacked, that means you have to go back in and make sure you restore that website and get it up and running fast. So of course I was in my beginning stages of hosting websites and running a web design agency. So I had 5 websites that were hacked. I had no backups, and these clients were actually getting customers, and their website was very important for them. This kept me up several nights trying to restore their websites, to clean up all the viruses and the malware. It was crazy, and to be honest, that in itself was something that really made me feel like I'd rather pay twice the price and know that the hosting company will take care of all of that, which these companies do, by the way. Their security is fantastic. In fact, I can speak for Flywheel, because they take care of all the security for your website. So you don't have to worry about, I need to install all these plugins that stop your website from getting hacked. You don't need to worry about that, because everything is taken care of. All you have to do is run your website. So yes, it's slightly more expensive, which I'll look into in a little bit, but it's a fantastic service. So anyway, over here, if we take a look at the site, we see that we have all these backups, and they're done every night, as I mentioned. But let's say you want to do a specific backup because you've updated your website. You can just click here on this plus button here, and you can give your backup a description. So you can say this is a WordPress update, like that, create backup, and then it will create a backup for you. So if things go wrong, you can just revert back. So you can also do manual backups outside these automatic backups. All right, so over here on the advanced tab, this is where I mentioned that you have caching, and this is where you can just flush the cache. And you also have staging, which means you can work on your website, your current website, behind the scenes, test a few things, and if you're happy with how the website is working, you can just push all your updates back to the website and it goes up and running. You also have HTTPS, which comes in free with this service, which means if you want to have any payment systems on your website, you have your HTTPS, which is a secure socket layer. Okay. Here is what I mentioned earlier on, the CDN. So this is the content distribution network, which makes your website really fast. It comes again with this plan, and it is already activated here. Okay, so there's also other things like, let's say you want to create a blueprint of your website, or you want to clone it. All these are extra features that you can use with your website. So as you can see here, the dashboard is very, very easy to use. And there's also an option here where you can add collaborators. So let's say you are having problems with your website. You can just click here on add collaborator. You add the collaborator here, add their email address, and they will have access to your website. And once they're done working on your website, you can just remove them, and pretty much you are done. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick look here at the questions, because I can see there are some questions coming through here. Okay, you may be wondering why I'm laughing. This is Uncle Social saying, friends don't let friends use HostGator. Yes, HostGator is, okay, I'd rather not say. Osama says, does Flywheel and Pressable offer email service with no additional cost? The answer to that is no. So these companies are just hosting your website for you, so they don't do domain registration, and there's no emails. Ideally, if you want to run your emails, I would use a totally different service, because when your website goes down, it goes down with your emails. That's what happens in most cases. So you want to make sure that your email service is totally different. I use Google Business for my emails. So it's just a Google interface, but it has all my emails in there with my actual proper domain. So that's how I set things up. So if my website goes down, at least I have access to my emails. And to be honest, you want to have a company that specializes in hosting to deal with the hosting. A company that specializes in email to deal with the email side of things. In fact, that's my opinion. Okay, I didn't notice that. So thanks for letting me know, Uncle Social. Right, let's see. Any more questions here? Looks like we don't have any more questions. Okay, so let's carry on here. So there's also some questions that people have been asking because I've been checking out the comments. So one of the most frequently asked question is, so when we talk about Divi hosting, does this mean that Elegant Themes is hosting the website? The answer to that is no. This is a partnership, so we don't actually host your website. We are in partnership with hosting companies. So that is how this service is works. Now, I'd also like to mention that we're also going to have folks from Pressable on the 29th of May, live stream, where they're going to be talking about their hosting service. So you're gonna hear firsthand them talking about the servers, the partnership, and how Divi works fast on their servers and what they did to make things fast. So on the 29th, Pressable, we're going to have someone from Pressable talk about their hosting platform. On the 5th of June, we are going to have Flywheel talk about their service as well. So these live streams, you don't want to miss them, because if you're not sure about whether you should go with these hosting companies, you may want to tune into these live streams because they are going to go into detail and talk about the hosting, how they've optimized, and why you should use these hosting services. So on the 29th of May, we have Pressable. On the 5th of June, we have Flywheel. So this is very, very important. So let's go through the main reasons why you may want to use Divi hosting. So the main reasons are, if you use Divi hosting, your website is automatically connected to the Elegant Themes account with the hosting. So that means everything, you don't really have to go in and do a lot of tweaking. The other thing as well is, which is very important, is your hosting is pre-configured to work really well with Divi. So sometimes you have to go into your PHP settings to make a few changes to really make sure everything is working okay. So you don't need to worry about that, because all of that is pre-configured. Now, the other reason why you may want to use Divi hosting is faster performance. As I mentioned earlier on, when we were talking about this hosting, a lot of times when websites are slow, we tend to think maybe it is the page builder itself, or it's the plugins that are working with the page builder. But in most cases, it's the hosting itself, because hosting plays a major role in your site speed. So if you want faster performance, then of course you want to go with Divi hosting. So the loading times are going to be fantastic. And also, these hosting companies that we have partnered with, they know WordPress in and out. So that's also the other reason why you may want to use these hosting companies, because you're dealing with companies that know how WordPress works and they optimize their systems for WordPress. So as I mentioned, this is a deal which is fantastic. It's available for brand new users, or if you already have a hosting account which you're not happy with, you can then migrate your websites over, and these companies can help you do that migration. Now, I'm not saying that these are the only companies that work well with Divi. No, absolutely not. There are so many hosting companies out there, and if you're happy with those hosting companies that you have, then we're good to go. But if you're unhappy, then these are the companies that we recommend. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Here we have Ma says, is there any special plan or price for Divi users? No, we don't have a special plan, to be honest. OG Legend says, do I have to give SiteGround my Divi theme details to link with them? The best thing to do here, OG Legend, is to contact SiteGround. I mean, of course, they know our partnership. So if you contact them and let them know, they will be able to guide you to the right direction and help you with that migration. Louise here say, I agree, Google Suite is the best. Yes, I've been using the G Suite for a very long time now, and it is fantastic. It's flawless. You can just get your emails the same way in fact, the interface looks like Gmail interface, but it's for business. So, in fact, it's quite cheap as well. It's not very expensive. So that's what I would highly recommend for your emails. Right, let's have a look here. Yeah, Louise also says here, according to me, and one great thing about managed hosting is the caching server. Yes, I've noticed that the performance for my website has increased because of just the caching. Of course, I've optimized my images as well, but these are the main key areas which are very important to making your website fast. So if you're running a website, for your own business, or you're a freelance designer, you're hosting websites for your clients, then definitely you want to have a service that is really, really good, a service that doesn't give you a lot of headache. As I mentioned before, when I was hosting my websites for my clients on a cheap hosting account, to be honest, I was more like a firefighter. Every day I'll just go in there and just try and fix things. And also just try and imagine trying to update 100 sites or 200 websites. That is a massive job. And even worse, trying to back up those websites. How would you back up 200 websites? That's almost a day's job. So of course I know I could have done things better then, but to be honest, this would be the best way to do it if you have automatic backups, and then just have everything done for you, and then you can just restore and get things up and running fast. Okay, let's have a look here. Do we have any more questions? Seek Truth says, I used SiteGround and Flywheel, and they are both good, and I settled with SiteGround for me, and I have a couple of clients on Flywheel. Good vibes. Oh, thank you very much for your feedback. That is fantastic news. So thank you for that. All right, so do we have any more questions here regarding Divi Hosting? I'll be happy to respond to those questions. So any questions? So for those of you that are just joining us, this is the Divi Feature Update Live. Today, we are talking about Divi Hosting. This is a service which we partnered with, hosting service which we partnered with companies, and these companies are Flywheel, SiteGround, and Pressable. Flywheel has been in the game for a very long time, and they have a very, very good service. And SiteGround as well, they have really fast servers. So the main, and Pressable are the makers of WordPress, but the main takeaway from this is these companies have optimized their servers to work really, really, really fast with Divi. So this is why we've partnered with these companies. And this was through us taking a look at the feedback and most of the complaints that we used to get from our customers. So we decided to recommend these hosting companies for you. Okay, we also have a comment here saying SiteGround, outstanding customer service. Thank you very much for your feedback. In fact, you know what? If you've used any of these companies, please let us know in the comments box your experience with these companies in terms of speed, customer service, or any other thing that you may want to let us know, just so that everyone knows pretty much what they're going into, or if anyone is on the fence whether they should decide to go with any of these services. Would like to know your experiences, so let us know in the comments box as well. I really appreciate that. Right, let's take a look here if you have any questions here on Facebook. And it looks like we don't have any questions. Okay, so I would like to also mention that if you are new to Divi, The links that you need in order for you to get this service are in the video description below. So don't go directly to these three companies, Flywheel, SiteGround, or Pressable. If you go directly, you won't get the full integration. You do need to go to these links, which I've added in the video description below. So this will take you to a page that looks like this, for example. So this will be the Divi Hosting by Flywheel. Okay. So this is the page you'll see. And if you're ready to go, you can click here on Set Up Website with Flywheel. So that will take you directly there. And this will be the link that takes you to SiteGround. In fact, let me just go back a few steps here. So this one here is the Divi and SiteGround. If you click here on Set Up a Website with SiteGround, this is where it takes you directly to the page where you need to do your setup. And also we do have one with Pressable. Where is it? Okay, I do need to go back to the Pressable one, but these are the links that you need to go to in order for you to get the service. Okay, so here I can see we have some feedback. Uncle Social here says, has anyone used SiteGround's migrator tool? It's their answer to Flywheel's local for pushing sites to their hosting. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know they had this service, so I might need to take a look at this, and perhaps we can do a quick tutorial and show people how this actually works. I have a question here from Louise, and the question is, do you think it's important to add a second backup option with Updraft, for example? No, to be honest, there is no need to do that, because these backups that these websites or these services do, I mean, they are backed up and backed up and backed up, so you're not going to lose them. So you don't need to add Updraft, for example. Just stick with the backup options that you get with these services. So there's no need really. It's just extra work which you don't really need. So I would stick to the backups from these companies. Right. We also have a comment here from Uncle Social saying, I love cPanel. I love cPanel hosting. Moving away from cPanel to SiteGround's bespoke control panel seems daunting, especially when I have a lot of custom DNS services to move. Yeah, it can be when you're using a new interface, because cPanel has been out there for a very, very, very long time. And in fact, to be honest, me personally, that cPanel looks so dated, and it's just, I don't know. With me, I really like beautiful UIs, so I would stick to. I mean, I would rather move on to the new interfaces, especially with the Flywheel one. And in fact, the Flywheel, I think I think this is the best interface out there. But of course, SiteGround has also a really nice one. Let's have a look here. Okay, so it looks like we've covered quite a lot of questions here. So anyway, if you do have any more questions after this live stream, you can just add them in the video description below, and we'll do our best to respond to those questions. But if you looks like we have. Okay. So as I was mentioning, if you have any more questions that you may want to ask about Divi Hosting, please leave your questions in the comments box below, and I'll do my best to respond to those questions. And also, if you use any of these services, please just let us know how you feel about them in the video description below as well, in the comments below, because that just helps anyone out there that wants, really good hosting, know what sort of experience you've had. So pretty much that's all I have. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. I know this is unusual coming on a Friday. This is BJ's time, but you know what? I thought I would come in and talk about this special Divi Hosting service that we've just launched, but I'll be back onto my Monday live streams very soon, and BJ will be back onto his Fridays. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate you tuning in today. And again, please stay safe and take care of yourselves and keep designing awesome looking websites. Take care, guys.